Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Millennial Smark, and I'm bringing you the slop, the whole slop, and nothing but the slop. So first and foremost, let me just say this. I am completely out of the loop when it comes to the AAA stuff. I only know what's being presented directly in front of my face, so I'm not going to pretend as if I'm some fucking historian or whatever the case may be. I'm only going off of what I'm seeing right in front of me. I did not watch the AAA pay-per-view show last night. So as far as the context that eludes me outside of what I'm going to reference, I just want to make it outright known that if I don't know something, or if I say something like, oh, blah, 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 or, like, it seems like I'm forgetting something, it's because I'm just not knowledgeable when it comes to AAA wrestling. Get that out the way, okay? So we kick this off with apparently, it all started off with a lot of people going at the Vikingo. Now, as you know, Vikingo retained his AAA World Heavyweight Championship against Dominic Mysterio last night, right? And people were booing the shit out of this idea. People were booing Vikingo when he was coming down the ramp. They were giving him a bunch of "we want Patron" chants, essentially calling for Alberto Del Rio to come back to be the world champion. And honestly, people just see Vikingo as nothing more than a placeholder. He's nothing more than a WWE shill. This is not my opinion. This is what I was seeing the Mexican fans say on Instagram and on Twitter. They absolutely dislike Vikingo. They see him no different than how you guys see Big Dog Roman Reigns, or how you see Cody Rhodes nowadays, right? That's how they reflect off of Vikingo. They think he's an absolute corporate shill who sold out AAA for WWE. I don't know what to make of that. I cannot speak upon that because I don't know the history of AAA to reflect off of that. Now, with that being said, we get to a point where Rey Mysterio cuts a promo in the middle of the ring, and I can't speak verbatim, but essentially the fans were chanting they want back Alberto Del Rio, referred to him as Alberto El Patron. Rey Mysterio made it known that he was going to come back to AAA. He didn't explain how that was going to be the case, nor did I expect him to, but he essentially alluded to that, right? And the whole situation right now is that you have a bunch of people in the United States who are saying things like, why did Rey Mysterio pretty much give clout to this man? Does he support Alberto Del Rio and the things that he did? Yada, yada this, yada, yada that. And then you have the Mexican fans who are telling people essentially to shut the fuck up. They aren't from Mexico. They want Alberto Del Rio in Mexico to wrestle for AAA wrestling. All the 9 yards, right? And there are people who are saying things about WWE as far as constantly supporting people who pretty much brutalize victims. They reference Brock Lesnar as a comparison to Alberto Del Rio as far as the people that they accept in WWE. They reference the stuff with Donald Trump and the Epstein files and all that shit with Triple H and the administration. They reference Linda Hogan currently being the administration. You can kind of see where this is going as far as the consistent pattern, right? You can clearly see this is people of a certain political advocacy. Obviously, I know you're going to get people in the comment section who are heavily progressive who are going to say no. Obviously, plausible deniability. Why are you making this about politics? I'm not. I'm just giving you who is saying this and who are actually telling this. Obviously, people are going to be like, well, that's not all progressives, and why are you making this political? I'm not. Once again, not even saying this is all specifically progressives, but the majority of it happens to be progressives. It is what it is, right? But nevertheless, though, we continue on with this because, at least in my opinion, and I'm going to be outright, I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat anything with you. Just to catch you up on the lore. As a matter of fact, if you want a deeper detail analysis and a deep dive into my thoughts in regards to this, I'm going to leave a link down in the description box below for you to follow the situation with Alberto Del Rio, where I break down this entire court case and we go over the facts. Again, link down in the description box below. But just for a quick TLDR, Alberto Del Rio, a couple of years ago, about 5 or 6 years ago, was accused of kidnapping his girlfriend, tying her up, essentially torturing her, sexually abusing her, and threatening her kid. Right? This is all detailed evidence, all that other kind of stuff. But Del Rio was pretty much exonerated on all charges because the girl never showed up to court. She even went out of her way to give some testimony, essentially stating that she made up everything and that she was running away, right? So Del Rio got off on most of the charges, if not all the charges. I got to go back myself and read my own video or hear my own video to see how deeper into the details as far as what happened with his case overall. But essentially, he was good enough where he can go back to wrestle, right? That's the important part. Now, if you ask me, I'm just going to be perfectly honest with you. We all have our opinions. I absolutely think Del Rio did everything that was claimed of him. I don't see any proof pretty much pushing up against the fact that he didn't do anything. The fact that he was exonerated on the technicality should already speak volumes as to what I feel about Del Rio. And there's the thing with Brock Lesnar too. I believe Brock Lesnar did the things that he did also with Janelle Grant. My only difference is the actual actions being taken. I don't see the problem personally with Brock Lesnar and Janelle Grant, two consensual adults, essentially having a discussion about whether or not they want to fuck each other. Also, I don't give a shit about a grown woman sending another man fucking piss pics or whatever, even if it was some type of negotiation ploy for Vince McMahon. The woman is getting paid currently, at that time, in order to do things that Vince McMahon wanted to do from a sexual perspective. That's all basically outright prostitution. If you guys want to make victims out of Janelle Grant, go for it. I'm not going to stop you. I'm not. Again, two consensual adults. They broke off the sex agreement anyways. I just don't care. Janelle Grant and Brock Lesnar, there was no power dynamics being at play when she's getting paid money in the end of the day to do all the things that she's doing. If you want to make it that way to be out more than what it is, then go for it. Versus Alberto Del Rio, the actual actions being I gotta say this legally, accused of all the heinous sex that were being detailed. Obviously, the two actions are completely, different from each other. And you have to be an absolute insane person to put them on the same plateau. But of course, these people want to do that because they want to have a consistent argument to make people who are arguing about Brock Lesnar seem insane. Because, well, I mean, you're saying Brock Lesnar should be okay to get away with it, so therefore you're saying Alberto Del Rio, without going into details about the actions being taken. This is how these people manipulate. This is how these people typically, in order to have the narrative that they want to push, this is how they typically go about things. They look at the fundamentals, they stay with the fundamentals, and they're so, like I said, manipulative. They're so bad faith that they just don't want to go into details. Because if you go into the details of both cases, you look like a fucking insane person to compare the two, right? Hence why I can sit here and I can say personally, if you ask me on a personal note, no, I don't want Del Rio back. No, I don't believe he should be pretty much anywhere near a wrestling ring given the situation that he was in. Like I said, exonerated on the technicality. Brock Lesnar, if he ever to beat his case, he beat his case with two consensual adults. One was consensual, the other wasn't consensual. Now, like I said, legally, both of these guys are okay. So that's the standard that we have to go with. My personal bias in regards to Del Rio situation doesn't mean a goddamn thing in the end of the day. I just want to let you know where I stand on all this from an opinionated standpoint. Now, when we go from a legal and a factual standpoint, and honestly, you can even bring a little bit of culture into this when it's all said and done. Nobody in the West, well, I don't want to say the West because I'm pretty sure technically, I guess Mexico would be considered the South, right? But let's just say nobody in the United States, right? Nor anybody in North America, I think could probably be a better way to say it. Well, no, because I think Mexico is a part of that also. Would Mexico be considered Central America? I'm fucking stupid right now, okay? I failed geography fucking 10 times, all right? My point being is nobody in the United States should be able, and we tend to do this a lot, and I don't like this. No matter how I feel about Alberto Del Fucco, I don't like the fact that, okay, he's doing his thing in Mexico. Whether I agree with it or disagree with it doesn't mean anything in the end of the day, right? He's doing his thing in Mexico. You currently have these set of fans right here in the United States essentially trying to dictate how things should go in Mexico. Do I think Del Fucco is an absolute creep and an absolute fucking degenerate? Of course I do. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I don't believe that. But at the same time, the creep and the degenerate and the way that he's acting is over there. I don't watch AAA wrestling. I don't give a fuck about Mexico. I'm in the United States and I watch WWE and AEW for fuck's sakes. Why the hell do I care about AAA wrestling in the end of the day, even if it is affiliated with WWE? In the end of the day, it just doesn't bother me. Nor does it necessarily bother you, or should it bother you, as far as what goes down in Mexico. As a matter of fact, I'm only giving my opinion in regards to the victim and Alberto Del Rio, and honestly, the way I look at it, I give my opinions about it. Never do I go out of my way to suggest, this is how this should fucking go down, and if you don't let it go down like this, I'm not gonna support you. I hate you guys are despicable, terrible fucking people, all this stuff. No, not necessarily. Now, the way I look at it, as far as Del Rio goes, I think he's a piece of shit. as far as how I look at the whole situation in regards to Del Rio and what's going forward, as far as what's happening at the moment, I don't think it's a good idea for WWE to be doing business with Del Rio. But at the same time, if he's in Mexico and he's not harming anybody, and the Mexican fans are asking for him to come back, I mean, who the fuck am I to say anything? You know, just because I have an opinion on something as far as how I feel about the situation doesn't mean that it should be dictated based off of my feelings. And I feel like people in North America, or in particular the United States and Canada for that matter, they always feel like their way of how things should be pushed should be the way as to how it should be pushed overall. Your consensus and the way of how you actually go about your own business and your own personal life should not be projected to others. If people, like, for an example, me, right? Now, it'd be one thing if there's a kid, or if there's an elderly person or a disabled person, they can't consent, right? So therefore, they should be off limits by any and by the way, when I say consent, when it comes to an old person, it depends on the extent of the old person, obviously. But my point being is, they're vulnerable. Vulnerable people should not be into the position where they can consent or not consent, right? They're vulnerable. They shouldn't even be looked at in any stretch or anything in regards to having to be, conducting any kind of business within any which way possible. But I see people who want to be trans, for an example. Okay, go for it. Just leave kids alone. I don't give a shit what you do. Even if I am a Baptist, from a religious standpoint, I may disagree with you. But, personally, sure, go for it. Do it. You're an adult. I don't care. Leave kids alone. Not that fucking hard. If you want to be a degenerate and, you want to go around making masturbation videos on Pornhub with a dildo in your asshole, go for it. Just don't do it in public so people don't fucking see you. It's not that hard. Do whatever you want to do as long as it only affects you. Not that hard. As only if it affects you. You can disagree, but if it doesn't affect you, leave it alone. You can give your opinion about it, but if it doesn't affect you, you don't affect any kind of change in regards to that situation. If it doesn't affect kids, if it doesn't affect the vulnerable, you don't affect any kind of change to that situation. You give your opinion and you back the fuck up and you shut the fuck up. And that's how I feel about the situation with Del Rio. Even though I disagree with the whole situation, even though I look at the situation with Del Rio and I say to myself that, yeah, I think the guy's a horrible human being. Yeah, I'm not falling for the bullshit. I don't see any evidence pretty much being conducted suggesting that he didn't do anything. All I see in the end of the day is that the person who was actually being in the situation just decided not to talk about it and get on the stand. And therefore, it's pretty hard to hold someone accountable when the victim herself won't talk about it. And then she ran away, making it even harder. What can you do at that point? What can you do? I mean, we can sit here and we can see the evidence in regards to abuse that has been taken. And, in the end of the day, what can you do, right? If she can prove it, or if he can prove that he didn't do anything, then by all rights. By all rights. I'm here to listen to it. Everything that I've heard so far, if you go back to my original video about Del Rio, has been nothing but plausible deniability. Nothing but plausible deniability. Now we come to my overall conclusion as far as how I feel about the situation. You can have your own opinion. Should Alberto Del Rio wrestle in AAA? Should he come back to AAA? Yeah, I think he should. Only from the standpoint that legally, what can you do? I put that community post out for you guys last night talking about the situation with my boss and the Cuban girl with the fucking Bulls jersey, whatever kind of fucking jersey she was wearing. This crazy motherfucker is running around, coming around the corner, sitting on the curb, fucking crying. I come out, I see some girl sitting down the curb, boo-hoo, crying like a motherfucker. I yell out across the street, "Hey, what's good? You okay?" She stands up, still fucking crying, wiping her eyes. She's fucking mumbling. I can barely hear what the hell she's saying, talking through her fucking cries. Some dude comes around the corner, starts yelling at her in Spanish. She's yelling back at him, "Get away from me! Get away from me!" Then she starts speaking Spanish to him and shit like that. I look at her, I see that she's fucking bleeding from the goddamn mouth. Looks like her goddamn fucking lip got busted. I'm knocking on her door, banging on the fucking door, telling my manager, open the door, open the door. She comes out thinking I'm fucking getting hit or something like that, or something's happening to me. I bring the girl inside, say, "Hey, this dude over here," he speeds off. When I tell him, "Hey, I'm calling the fucking police," when she opens the goddamn door, I'm pointing to the fucking door. I'm blah 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 this blah 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 blah. Breaking into the goddamn room or inside the fucking back room because we have a fucking window right there where you can go right by and fucking look and peer through the window. Bring her in the back. She's in the back. We calling the police after she act. We tell her, hey, you want us to call the police? She's telling us, yeah, call the police, call the police. And she's still making phone calls to whoever she's making phone calls to, taking pictures of her face and all this other fucking shit. Police gets here. We talk to the fucking police, all this other kind of shit. Fucking guy is still sitting right there like a goddamn psychopath sitting in his fucking car, staring at us on his fucking phone, looking at him. Hey, that's the dude right there. Police goes over there, gets out the car. They start talking. Eventually, motherfucker gets arrested. She's all, why are you arresting him? I just didn't want him to be near me. Let him go. I'll go this way and he goes that way. We're perfectly fine. There's no reason to arrest him. Spazzing out on the cops. Cops telling her to back the fuck up. She's still spazzing out. The police threaten to fucking arrest her dumbass. Police takes his ass away. He's more calmer than her. And she called the police on him. I guess we did technically, but still. Turns to us. You guys, I didn't want this to happen. Well, bitch, you told us to call the police. What the fuck you think was gonna happen? You know, if you guys would have just minded your business, this wouldn't have gone to... My fucking manager, who also was a domestic victim or whatever, is trying to talk to her and girl to girl, woman to woman, let her know that this isn't the right thing, all this other kind of shit. She blocks her out, listens to her talking. You don't understand this situation. You don't know who I am. Bitch, then why did you come running to us? Well, I guess technically I introduced her. And then she goes running off, walking away. You know what, you guys? Okay, fine. Thank you for calling the police. I'll see you guys later. Thank you. Dismissing the fuck out of us, leaving on the phone with somebody. Man, my manager, okay, you know what? Fuck this shit. Let's go. Take off. I take off. The moral of the story is, if a woman who's being abused wants to actually stand up for herself, then go for it. Stand up for yourself. I don't know the situation in regards to Alberto Del Rio and the girl or whatever the case may be, or why she ran off or whatever. Maybe she was threatened. I don't know. But she didn't speak upon it. She didn't go out of her way to dismiss anything that was brought about Alberto Del Rio. So therefore, what can you do? If there's no proof, if there's nothing to hold them on to, then that's it. There's nothing you can do. I can have my personal opinion as far as how I feel about it and how I see it. But legally, what can you do? You didn't prove anything. Everything is opinion now. So therefore, he comes back. Therefore, he gets to continue living his life. If you can't legally stop him, then that's it. Continue moving on. That's it. I feel like fucking North American fans don't get that. They don't. Or to be fair, I think they do. It's just only a certain segment of people who don't get that. Hate Del Rio. I don't like Del Rio. I get it. I understand. But to sit here and virtue signal, and when I guarantee you most of the people that you look up to have done probably 10 times worse as Alberto Del Rio, they just haven't been out it yet. Well, sure, I guess. But do I think he should be able to have a living if he hasn't been, pretty much guilty of anything? Legally, no. Legally, he should continue doing what he's doing. I can hate him personally. Legally, that's it. Done deal. Leave it alone. Focus on the wrestling. That's what you guys tell us all the time. Stop focusing on the backstage stuff, Devontae. Focus on the wrestling. Okay, focus on the wrestling then, like you tell me. It is what it is, man. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below in regards to how you feel about the situation. How do you feel about Del Rio and his position? How do you feel about the whole situation in regards to his situation with his girl or whatever? How do you feel about him currently wrestling in AAA or the fans that are calling for him? How do you feel about the American fans pushing back against this? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. As always, my name is Devontae, and I'll be catching you fine folks later. Also, aka Millennial Smart. I forgot to say that part, but you already know that, okay? We're good now. Stop asking me to talk about this now. Shut the fuck up and leave me alone. A deuces and a pea ice.